A lot of foreign men ruin a first date with a Filipina before the food even arrives. Not because they're ugly, not because they're broke, not because they said one awkward thing and the whole night exploded. They ruin it because they show up with the wrong energy, too intense, too eager, too obvious, too much talking, too much asking, too much trying to force a future before the woman in front of them has even decided whether she likes their company for the next hour. And that's the real problem. A first date in the Philippines is not supposed to feel like an immigration interview, a therapy session, and a marriage proposal all rolled into one. But a lot of men treat it exactly that way. They sit down with a pretty Filipina and immediately start acting like they need to crack the code of her entire life before the drinks hit the table. Where did she work? How many exes? What happened in her last relationship? Does she want marriage? Does she want kids? Is she serious? Is she loyal? Is she this? Is she that? Relax. That kind of energy kills the mood fast. A first date is not where a man earns every answer. A first date is where he earns the right to a second date. That's a completely different mindset, and a lot of men miss it. They go in trying to solve the whole puzzle on day one, when the smarter move is just to see whether there's real chemistry, real comfort, and enough curiosity to keep going. The first big mistake is turning the date into an interrogation. This is probably the fastest way to drain all the life out of the moment. A woman sits down hoping to feel something light, fun, and interesting, and instead she's getting question after question like she's applying for a job. Men do this because they're nervous, because they've been burned before, or because they think if they don't get every answer immediately, they're being stupid. But the truth is, most of those heavy questions do not belong on a first date. Not because they don't matter, but because timing matters. Trust has to come before truth gets deeper. A man is not entitled to every private detail of a woman's life just because he bought dinner. And honestly, a lot of the men who demand full access right away are not even building the kind of atmosphere where honesty comes out naturally. They're creating pressure, not connection. A woman under pressure usually does one of two things. She either shuts down or she tells a man whatever gets her through the moment fastest. Neither one helps him. A smarter man pays attention to how she feels to be around. Is she comfortable, warm, closed off, curious, restless, engaged? That tells him more in the early stage than some forced conversation about every bad thing that ever happened in her life. The second big mistake is talking too much and killing all the mystery. A lot of men arrive in the Philippines thinking they need to explain themselves completely so the woman will see they're serious. So they start unloading their whole biography, their divorce, their ex, their business, their retirement plan, their travel dates, their money situation, their medical issues, their goals for marriage, their visa ideas, their entire emotional resume. And they do it all before the appetizer. That is too much. Mystery matters. Not fake game-playing mystery, just basic emotional discipline. A man should not arrive on a first date and hand a woman every page of the book before she's even decided she wants to read chapter 2. Attraction needs a little space to breathe, a little room for curiosity, a little room for her to wonder. That's one of the quiet advantages a foreign man has in the Philippines, and a lot of them throw it away immediately. He already is a little unknown, a little different, a little outside her usual world. That can work in his favor if he knows how to stay calm, stay present, and let the conversation unfold naturally. But the second he starts over-explaining everything, he becomes familiar too fast, heavy too fast, predictable too fast. And predictable too early is rarely sexy. That doesn't mean a man should act cold or secretive. It means he should stop treating a first date like a data dump. Talk about food, travel, music, family in a light way, funny stories, good experiences. Let her laugh, let her relax. Let her see whether she likes his energy. That's enough for the beginning. The third big mistake is ignoring the clues that are right in front of him. A lot of men are so busy trying to run the date that they forget to read it. And a first date is full of information if a man actually slows down enough to notice it. Was she on time? Was she late with a real reason? Or casually late like she didn't care? Did she seem excited to be there, or like she was just fitting him into the schedule? Did she sit close or keep distance? Did she ask questions back, or mostly let him perform? Did she seem eager to stretch the time together, or was she looking for an easy exit? Those things matter. A woman's body language, timing, attention, warmth, and pacing will usually tell a man more than the words he keeps trying to pull out of her. Some women are naturally shy. Yes. Some are cautious. Some need time. But even then, there are still clues. There is still a difference between a woman who is guarded but interested and a woman who is just not feeling it. Men miss this all the time because they're focused on the wrong goal. They're trying to make something happen instead of trying to understand what is already happening. And that's a mistake because the date is talking the whole time, even when neither of them is. The fourth big mistake is destroying the natural tension. This is where a lot of men get too sexual too fast, or the opposite, too intense too fast. Both can ruin the rhythm. A date works because there's a little uncertainty in the air, a little possibility, a little edge, not because everything gets said out loud immediately. A lot of men think if attraction is there, they should start steering the conversation towards sex, or touching too much, or making the outcome too obvious. That usually backfires. The tension on a good first date is already there. A woman knows why a date is a date. She knows attraction is part of the reason you're both there. It does not have to be dragged into the middle of the table and announced like a sales pitch. The more a man can stay relaxed and not force the physical side too early, the more space he gives that tension to build on its own. That's the part a lot of men don't understand. Neediness kills tension. Pressure kills tension. Over-talking kills tension. What keeps it alive is restraint, pace, timing. A man who can enjoy the possibility without demanding the result immediately usually becomes more attractive, not less. And this is also why not every good first date needs to last forever. Longer is not always better. Sometimes men think if the date is going well, they should stretch it into an all-day event, an all-night event, a whole emotional marathon that can actually work against them. A shorter, warmer, well-paced date often leaves a better feeling behind than one that drags on until both people are tired and the energy gets flat. Leaving a little too soon is usually better than staying a little too long. That's how interest grows. The fifth big mistake is offering too much too early. This one destroys more possibilities than men realize. Some men get on a first date and start talking about marriage, helping financially, long-term commitment, moving plans, future visas, trips, security, everything. They think this makes them look serious. Sometimes it just makes them look reckless. A woman should not get the whole prize just for showing up. That may sound blunt, but it's true. Anything handed over too easily gets treated too lightly. That applies to men and women both. If a man starts making huge offers before the woman has invested real time, real honesty, real consistency, and real effort into knowing him, he is teaching her the wrong lesson. He is telling her that she doesn't need to earn depth, trust, or commitment. She just needs to sit there and listen. That's not romance. That's bad negotiation with his own future. A smart man lets things build. He allows the relationship to reveal itself in stages. He does not put the whole house on the table because he got butterflies over one dinner. He watches, he listens. He sees what she does when she is not being pulled forward by his fantasy. And this is where so many foreign men in the Philippines get themselves into trouble. They're so relieved to finally get attention, affection, or ease from a beautiful woman that they start rewarding appearance before they've tested character. They start projecting a future onto a woman who has not actually had to show very much yet. Then later they feel used, disappointed, or confused. But often the truth is simpler. They moved too fast. A first date should be about vibe, not vows. That's the heart of it. If a man wants better first dates with Filipinas, the formula is not complicated. Stop interrogating, stop over explaining, stop trying to force certainty on day one. Stop acting like every pleasant woman you meet needs to be sorted into wife, fling, or scammer before dessert. Just slow down, make the date feel good to be on. Be clean, be calm, be observant, be a little playful. Let the conversation breathe. Let the woman show herself instead of trying to pull every answer out of her by force. Notice what she gives freely. Notice how she behaves. Notice how the energy feels when there's silence. Notice whether she leans in or checks out. Those things will tell you plenty. And maybe the biggest thing of all, stop acting desperate. Desperation has a smell. Women pick it up fast. A man who seems like he needs the date to turn into something huge will usually make the woman back away, even if she liked him at first. But a man who can enjoy the date for what it is, without trying to squeeze a whole future out of one evening, feels safer, stronger, more attractive. That's the irony. The men who act like they can survive without immediate validation are usually the ones women feel more drawn to. So no, a first date in the Philippines is not supposed to answer every question or guarantee every outcome. It's supposed to open the door, that's all. Open the door. Create enough trust, enough interest, enough comfort, and enough attraction that both people want to keep walking forward. That's it. And when men finally understand that, their first dates get a whole lot better.